Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Secretary, welcome back. Good to see you again. Before we begin with the question, I do want to thank you and your staff for working with me on the Barrasso-Heinrich bipartisan LNG export bill. I was very encouraged by Assistant Secretary Smith's responses to our questions, and as of yesterday, we had 6 Democrat co-sponsors, 6 Republican co-sponsors. So I look forward to working again with you on this bipartisan bill. I would like to discuss crude oil and the crude oil market. Over the last several months, OPEC has decided not to cut oil production. Many have speculated about the motives for this. Some say that Saudi Arabia and other OPEC members are trying to rein in Iran's nuclear ambitions. Others have stated OPEC is trying to encourage Vladimir Putin to abandon his support for Syria's President Assad. I mean, you've heard all of the different theories behind this. Others say OPEC is trying to undermine America's crude oil production. But regardless of their motives, OPEC's decision has forced American oil producers to cut some investment and then lay off workers in states such as my state of Wyoming. Currently, American producers aren't allowed to export crude oil from the United States. So we have American producers who aren't allowed to sell to Asia, to Europe, to Latin America, so American producers run out of customers. And to me, this is obviously hardships for folks in my state, but in other states as well. So in light of what's happening worldwide, isn't now as good time as any to lift this ban of exporting crude oil from the United States?
Well, Senator, as you know, that's of course in the Department of Commerce's jurisdiction. We do provide kind of technical support when requested. But a few points I will make without judging the answer to that question is one. First of all, we are an enormous oil product exporter. We must be, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 million barrels a day, something like that. Probably, I think we're net 2.5 million barrels a day exporters now of product. That's an enormous change. It's almost a reversal of sign from a few years ago. So we are exporting effectively through products. We are also exporting things like natural gas liquids, propane, etc. In terms of crude oil, the other perspective is that we are 7 million barrel per day importers still of crude oil. So I think this question of exports also is to be taken in the context that we are actually enormous importers. I understand the next level of argument about matching refineries and this kind of issue, but those are the kinds of analyses that will be forthcoming. I would just mention one that the EIA did and published around impacts on gasoline prices, and their conclusion was probably none to possibly minor decreases in domestic prices, largely because the gasoline price is indexed more to the Brent benchmark.
Have you been in touch with the Secretary of Commerce on this issue? As you said, it's in that jurisdiction.
Yes, so we have supplied a number of technical briefings in terms of processing. For example, and of course, as you know, the Secretary of Commerce or Department of Commerce did issue a clarification in terms of what lightly processed condensate was for export, which I think provided some additional clarity to the companies.
In terms of communication, and we want to switch to Keystone XL now, and I know that your department has been involved with issues related to the President is making his decision. It's been 6.5 years for a 1.2 mile segment of pipe, essentially crossing the border. Last Monday was the deadline for the federal agencies to submit comments to the State Department on Keystone XL pipeline, and I understand your agency did submit comments to the State Department. So would you disclose to us or publicly disclose what the Department's comments were to the State Department?
We did submit comments, Senator, but regrettably, we just don't comment in terms of active decisional processes going on. So I think the State Department would have to address that.
So the public is not entitled to the agency's comments, and I want to know how this is consistent with the President's claim that this is the most transparent administration in history.
Well, again, I think it's quite quite conventional in active decisional processes where things can change. But again, the Department of State, I think, would have to be the one to do that. I mean, I can say that what we submitted certainly provided, I would say, up-to-date information of relevance to the decision.
But the department is still going to withhold sharing with the public what that information may be. I mean,
that's our intent. That we believe the State Department should control the information with regard to an active decision-making process.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.